that. So let's then see. So you've started your homework, which is very nice, but the thing is, excess is also not necessary. First is, I do not require all this, which the entire passage to be done. I just require a little bit to be done. See, you don't need to go overboard. See, your target is about half an hour a day, not more than that. It should not become a drudgery. If you have the time and you're doing it, that is all right. But by and large, you stick with only about one passage, one paragraph. Don't try to do the whole thing. Okay, that itself is adequate to get you the kind of vocabulary we're looking at. Okay, now, the question that you have raised about why dabai here and why not D is, he's having his coffee and he's reading the paper. So that is the meaning here. So the parents are drinking coffee and simultaneously he's also reading. While drinking coffee, he's reading the paper. So dabai, along with it, along with is a kind of the meaning that you're going to get with the dabai here.
Okay.
That is the meaning behind it. Okay, now regarding this particular one, where you, okay, 1 second. What's the stupid thing popping up? Done. Okay. Now here in this particular one, when you're coming to the listening part, don't make all these columns and all that. The first thing is, it's not important that you only do the German one. You need the association which then comes with it. Okay, so let us then say, for example, is the no, here this is Sahiti. Okay. Now, in this one, what you can then see, first thing is, when we are then coming to the question of listening and all that, what does she do? So here, we are then going to have tape number 4, at school, in der Schule. Where are we? Wo sind wir? We are at school. So English should also come and the German should also come. This way, what happens? We are going to be able to correlate what it is that we are learning rather than simply trying to just work upon this one here. Understood?
Yeah.
So try to do it in this format rather than trying this one. So we want to understand people. We have wollen Menschen verstehen. So like this, you're going to then do this over here. Right. So if you do this, this is adequate. Okay, so
Okay.
even when you are doing this read, type, and translate, see what does this child do? She takes 1 or 2 lines here and then she puts it down. Then she puts another 2 lines and she does the translation, so forth. That's it. That she's not going to do more than 3 or 4 lines. That's it, maximum. So listening and transcribing, she will do 1 tape, 2 tapes. That's it. And as I said, we don't need to do the whole thing. Listening is mandatory, but you're not going to do. So listening and translating, tape number 6. I read, ich lese. I read a letter, ich lese einen Buchstaben. So you're getting the thing what she's then doing over here like this. So there you go. This is tape number 7. Like that, she has been doing it all along. Later, when you're learning a little bit more about verbs and all that, so you're then going to learn about how to then create sentences and so forth. That will be the 3rd part of the assignment. Right. So having learned a little bit about this conjugation, now let us then come here. So should this now be, what will you then put over here? You will have sein or haben. So I have a headache. So how are you going to put this down?
Ich haben.
Ich habe Kopfschmerzen. Okay. Ich habe Kopfschmerzen. Then, ikkada, du,
Habst.
wrong.
Du habst.
Habst rather, son.
Habt.
It is hast.
Hast.
Okay. So, ikkada, du kemo esti ravali.
Yeah.
Ending. And this is then going to be with the E ending. Okay. But here what happens, we don't have a B. It's an irregular verb. So, ich habe, du hast, hat. So, and the du are the two rebels. They are not having the B in them. Right. Now, he is tall.
Yeah, he is tall.
So,
Zaid. Here, Zaid gross.
No, totally wrong. You have got yourself thoroughly confused as far as that is concerned. Now, let us very quickly then do here. Now, where is this? You're going to have ish, do, air, wir, here. Now, din kemo, what in the case of sein, amostundi chapandi, ish,
Ich bin.
right?
Du hast.
That is haben.
Yeah.
So, are we confused here? This is habe.
Du bist.
Du bist is right. This is going to be du bist. Since this is the most popular verb in Anni Rupal maniki teliyalanna. Du bist, and here it then says du
hast.
Okay. Okay, right.
Wir sind and ihr seid. But
no. This is then going to be
ist.
And this is then going to be hat.
Habt.
Wir
sind.
Wir sind. And ihr, then wir haben. Wir haben.
Wir haben.
Okay. And ihr?
Ihr seid.
Ihr seid. And ihr? Ihr habt.
Ihr habt.
Habt. H-A-B-T. Okay, so ikkada manaki the one CV annikada variation. Maybe in the case of this one, the whole lot is a variation here. Deentlo only these two are at variation. Now B lekunda vastundi. Okay, now we want to use with the third person. It is then going to be ish. Say ist. Ist gross. He is tall. Next one. Gross can also mean big and not. So, next one. Wir
sind in Hanover.
Absolutely right. Wir sind in Hanover.
Wo sind?
Wo sind die Eltern? Right. Ihr
seid. I have hunger. Ihr habt hunger.
Ihr habt Hunger.
Hunger.
Yes. Now this one is a Germanism. Okay?
Yeah.
So in Germanism and like you will then say, I am hungry. But in German you say, ich habe Hunger. I don't say I am. I'm then going to say I is then going to be the one here. Okay.
Yep.
Next. Now, we clear this. There you go. Ihr habt Hunger. Okay. Yeah. Now go ahead with the next one.
Das Auto ist kaputt.
Das Auto ist kaputt.
Kaputt.
Okay.
Sind Sie seit?
No.
Seit.
No.
What is the time, right?
Ledu. It is then going to be.
Is it time?
No. It is a manner of asking, are you free?
Okay.
So, have you got time? Do you have time?
Has Sie
Something. So, this is then going to be
hat
in the Zeit. This is then going to be haben Sie Zeit. Then,
okay. Crank.
Krank ante ఒంట్లో బాలేకపోవటం, to be sick.
Okay. Maybe same. Haben Sie krank?
No. Are you sick?
Are you sick? Okay. Time. Sind Sie? You bist Sie?
One of those few places where it will coincide. It is then going to be sind Sie krank? Hans? This is a phrase. It means at home. At home. So, suppose now I want to visit you on Saturday. I will then say, am Samstag, sind Sie zu Hause? Mir intlo untara?
Okay.
Are you at home? Is the question. So, now here, he is at home.
Ja, Hans ist zu Hause.
Hans ist zu Hause.
Das ist gut.
Right. Okay, so you have got the hang of this one, not much of a problem. So we remove this page here and we come to the one which is then going to be with verbs. So e verbs lo ikkada manaki em vastunnadi. So how would you then go about this? So here you tell me Paul lives in Hamburg. So what will then come here?
Paul won't. Paul won't in Hamburg.
Paul won't in Hamburg. Very good. So this is then going to be Paul won't in Hamburg. Then
Ich freue
mich. So ENDCC మిగతాది పెడితే you're going to get ich freue mich. I am pleased. Okay. Right. Next one. Er
buchstabiert.
Er buchstabiert das Wort. So, buchstabiert das Wort. He is spelling the word. Buchstabe is going to be a letter of the alphabet. So, spelling cheyadam ante, we are then going to say it is going to be to buchstabieren is going to be to spell the word. Right. Hören.
Wir hören Musik.
Wir hören Musik. Musik. Okay, so hören. Okay, next one. Notieren.
Do you notate the telephone number?
You seem to have a tendency to forget the do part. It is always going to have the ST. So, du notierst. Du notierst die Telefonnummer. So, you're going to then say, du notierst die Telefonnummer. Then, here.
Die Kinder spielen zu Hause.
Die Kinder spielen zu Hause. That is right. It is going to be spielen only. Okay. Now, next one, Marken,
Maken. Ihr mache eine Pizza.
wrong. Ich mache ein Pizza.
Okay, ich mache.
So, ear
Magst.
wrong.
Magt.
Anni pot shot guesses.
Yeah, here is last one. Yeah, magt.
So this goes away and you're getting the T. So you're going to say, ihr macht eine Pizza. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
making a pizza.
Then, ich,
Ich lebe in Deutschland.
right. Ich lebe in Deutschland. So soon you can say this. Next one, sagen.
Maria sagt ihren Nachnamen.
Yeah. So Maria sagt ihren Nachnamen. Okay. Now comes a verb which is of interest for us. I have to give you an explanation about this one.
Arbeiten.
There are certain verbs which are then where the stem of the verb is going to end with a T or which is going to end with a D. Now, where is this? This formatting is very common. We are going to do it multiple times throughout the process of learning. Okay, so now there are verbs like this which are then going to come here, which is ending with T and D. Ending with T and D. So you have arbeiten. You then have verbreiten. Okay. Now we then have wenden, enden. ఓకే ఇట్లాంటి వస్తున్నప్పుడు దీంట్లో ఏమవుతుంది నార్మల్ గాను ఇక్కడ మనం వీఆర్ దెన్ గోయింగ్ టు సే ఇష్ ఆర్బైటర్. Now here I'm supposed to normally say du arbeits, but this still and రావడం చాలా కష్టమని here we're going to put an E over here. So this E is going to be an extra amount, which is then going to pop up over here. So you're going to put the E over here.
Okay.
Do are by test. Idi then kostundi. It is also then going to be coming here for this one. So when you come here, you're going to then say here are by tet. So you're then going to have the extra T coming up over here. And this is then going to be with the T over here. Like this. Now, then we are by 10. దీంట్లో ఏం ఇబ్బంది లేదు ఎందుకంటే ఇది ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఈఎన్తో వస్తుంది. The next one is this is the one which is then going to have by tet. R by tet. So ఈ 5 రూపాయలు because hidden inside is then going to be the one which is here. So air అనే దానికి ZS కూడా ఉంటుందన్నమాట. So all 5 of them are going to have an extra E wherever the stem of the verb is ending with a T or a D. Okay, this is then how it is then going to work out. Right. So this is a slightly different variation on verbs. So it is then going to be arbeitet in Berlin. Okay. Now korrigiert. Rest of it is going to be similar, so you don't require to do that. That was the one variation I wanted to show you. Okay. Here we are then having a small this one. So now what would you then put over here? Du
trinkst.
So you are then going to have du trinkst. Okay. Then ich
singe.
Ich singe ein Lied. So
wir spielen.
Yeah. So yeah. Wir spielen Schach. So Schach is then going to be chess. Lead is going to be, so here, this one is, you should be like a sponge, absorbing whatever is coming here. One, you're learning the verb. Second one, look at what is the noun coming at the end. So milch ante palu, lead ante pata. Okay, shark is going to be chess. So air, now this is one, indana mekenje penu, D dostuna brain ravarniku. It is then going to be ET. Adi Sanati. So we're going to then say air rated feel. Mari ekku vagutar. He talks too much. He talks a lot. Die Kinder
schwimmen
yes.
im Wasser.
Im Wasser. Wasser ante needle.
Water.
Needle. Then air kommt aus Frankreich. Er kommt aus Frankreich. Ante ardham enti what
from
is
France.
Huh?
From France. He comes from France.
Very good. Well done. Now, die Tochter.
The doctor Spulen. Oh, no, Spult.
Die Tochter is singular.
Yeah.
So it is going to be
the doctor Spult.
Das Asia. So she is then cleaning up this one. Okay. Right. You seem to have got the hang of this one. These are going to be irregular verbs. They're going to be irregular verbs. Konni panikoste, konni you have to then work out what is to be done. So, in the first person, it is always going to behave like a normal verb. So, begin now. So, guten Tag, ich
heiße Hansen.
Okay. Okay.
Die Teilnehmer schreibet.
Schreibt. There is no, only the en is removed.
Schreibt.
Is then going to come here. Schreibt. Writes a sentence. Okay.
Du hast Hunger.
Du hast Hunger. Okay. Wir
beschreiben.
We are describing the picture.
Okay.
So this is where you are then going to use common verbs and not. As much as you can absorb, that much is better for us. Okay. Now, it should not be a difficult one. We now are going to start a slightly different topic. Whatever we have then been able to then do over here, it has helped us in being able to understand, to easily understand the simple passages. Okay, so here, for example, now you can try reading in English. Go ahead.
Martin Stuber is 15 years old.
Okay.
He lives with his parents, probably, and his sister in Berlin.
Okay.
His house is...
They live
Okay. They live in a big house
in
in
a
the
big
center, in the city center,
apartment, in a big
big
apartment
apartment in
in
city center.
city center.
Yeah.
In city center. Ikkarmiku, one thing that you should now learn is the basic structure of a sentence. It is then going to consist of a subject, a verb, and an other. So, subject, verb, and other. So, epudu subject is the beginning one. Subject, verb, and other.
Okay.
So, what is then happening? No rule says that it has to be consisting of only one single word. It is coincidence that it is one single word. Later we will then see that it can, like here, it can be two words, for example. Okay, so and as we go later and deeper into the language, you will see it can consist of multiple multiple words also. So we can say, for example, der alte Mann ist 80 Jahre alt. So the old man. So the article, adjective, and then the noun. So you can then have it coming in that format also. So der Junge Martin Stubber is 15 Jahre alt. So the youngster Martin Stubber is 15 years old. So you can then have it a variation on this one. So this is going to be how you will always look at. So try to then remember, and then from here you pick up the verbs which you are then now. You're doing a good job so far. So now continue. Martin's father is a doctor.
Yeah, Martin's father is a doctor. His mother is Krankenschwester.
Nurse.
Okay, nurse.
Nursing system. Okay.
Okay, nursing sister.
Hmm.
Martin learns maths and studies probably maths and biology.
Okay. Now here we stop 1 second. Now we are going to then talk about a couple of things. First one in English, when you say my father is a doctor, in German we never use for profession and for relationships. Okay, or this one, we are not going to, or nationality, we are not going to say, you're not going to put any article. So, welche Nationalität haben Sie? What's your nationality? Ich bin Inder. Repeat, ich bin Inder. I am Indian.
Okay.
You will not say ich bin ein Inder. No, you simply say ich bin Inder. Next. When you are then the next one that you're going to then get is the second one I wanted to tell you. We have talked about adverbs when we were talking about the parts of speech. Now, in the parts of speech, usually, okay, we always find that in the case of English, the adverb tends to come immediately after the subject. Subject ki verb ki machna vachesi. Sometimes a verb need is then going to make it into an infinite form. So you remember your self-introduction, which we were doing the first time when we learned about self-introduction. We then said, here in the last we said, I like to read books or novels, and then I like to play. So ikkada em chesinam idi German lo vestunappudu venaka pakka vestunam annamata. So it is coming after the verb. So ich lese gern, ich lese gern Romane, ich spiele gern cricket. So you're going to then use this particular form to bring that form. Like to, adverb to, then venakal vastund. Now, in English, I understand, I don't understand. German, ich verstehe,
Ich verstehe nicht.
So it is going to come at the back end. So this tendency is then going to continue here. So what is then going to happen? This gern is going to be an adverb. So Martin
Likes to learn
likes to
maths and
learn
biology.
maths and biology. So మనం ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఆ ఇంగ్లీష్ మెథడాలజీ వాడుకోవాలి అదే. సో ఇక్కడ his sister likes to learn English and plays tennis. Atla we are going to then switch over to the adverb and then the verb over here. So
Okay.
the verb in the case then becomes the infinite form in the case of the English. You're going to say to learn. She likes to learn English. He likes to learn maths and biology. Atla then it is going to change that. Okay, so these are Germanisms. If we గుర్తుపెట్టుకుని you have to try and then do this. Okay, right. So as you can see, you're progressing pretty fast for a beginner. Yeah? So you're able to make out and you'll be able to pick up the verbs very nicely. That is a good this one. So what you have to do is, first one, verbs it is then going to be capitalized. All verbs are going to be capitalized. So daily you have to then take a peek out of what is it that you are then reading here. So now anything which is not a name, then when you are harvesting this one, like a farmer who's then getting it, so you can see in this passage you're then going to say is then going to be these are then going to be the ones over there. So we remove the ones which are obviously going to be names and then just concentrate on the ones which are not. Now so these are then going to be the ones which are going to be the nouns in this particular passage here. What is yara?
Year.
Years, plural form. It is the plural form.
Plural form.
So today we will talk about plurals also. Then sie studiert Betriebswirtschaft. Betriebswirtschaft is then going to be management.
Okay.
A Betrieb is going to be a factory. A Wirtschaft is called as economy. But put together, they create a word which then says economics, or it is then going to be management. That is then going to be then coming here. So when I then come here and say Betriebswirtschaft. Business administration, business management, Lehrer, business management, business studies. Okay, so this is then going to be the one over here. There you are. So there you are. It is then going to be business management. And Freundinnen is going to be plural form. You're going to then say it is going to be women, the
girlfriends.
Friends who are women. Let us not say girlfriends, it is friends who are women of the opposite sex. So in a kleiner Wohnung is then going to be an apartment. Samstag is then going to be what? What is going to be Samstag?
Saturday.
What day is it today?
Today is Donnerstag.
Wie spät ist es jetzt? What is the time now?
Time is Kurs halb 7.
Nach halb 7.
Kurs nach halb 7.
Kurz nach halb 7. Well done. Absolutely wonderful. Right. So, restaurant, Kellnerin is then going to be, Kellnerin is waitress. Kellner is waiter. Kellnerin is going to be waitress. So when you don't know the name of the person and you're waiting for a service, you can always say, Fräulein Kellnerin, Miss Waitress. So Herr Kellner, Mr. Waiter. So Maryada Puranga Valan Pilavataki, you're going to say Herr Kellner, or you're going to say Fräulein Kellnerin, or so you're going to use that particular word for saying, grabbing the attention of the people. Then Studentinnen, Nachleben, written as female students. Nachleben is nightlife and parties is parties. Right. So here we now come here and we are going to learn two things today. First one, we are now going to learn about the plurals of nouns. Nouns have got, all nouns are then going to have plurals. In the case of English, it then happens to be that we are going to have, in the case of English, we are then going to have what we call
Yes, it then.
mostly S, sometimes ES, and very rarely you're going to have without S, you're going to have then N or even have an EN. Man becomes men, woman becomes women, and so forth. And occasionally you're going to then say fungus, fungi.
Okay.
So you're going to have an I. Those are rarities rather than regular ones. In German, we've got 5 different forms, not one, not two. We have 5 different plurals that are then going to be turning up. So, plurals of nouns. So, in the plurals of nouns, what is then going to happen? I said we have 5. The first one is going to be ending with an E. Now, the one ending with an E is going to be a single syllable words. Single syllable words. That is the criteria. Now, whatever I'm giving you is not rules, they're going to be guidelines. By and large, in German grammar, we avoid hard and fast rules. We try to stick with only guidelines, so single syllable guidelines. So that is the guideline. So here you then say der Hund, you're going to then say die Hunde. So as you notice, the article changes into D. No matter whether it is going to be masculine, feminine, or neutral, this is then going to be the method. So then you say die Hand. Your parts of your body are going to be masculine, some are going to be neutral, some are then going to be, they're then going to be feminine. So for example, your head is masculine, you're going to say der Kopf. Okay, so then you're going to come to the question of hand, you're going to then say it is die Hand. Okay, so like this, you're going to have each and every part having a separate one. Okay, coming to this one, it is in the case of hand, it is then going to be die Hand, then it is going to be die Hände. It is then going to be die Hände. When you then come over here, it is then going to be das Hemd. Hemd is then going to be shirt and chokka. So the plural is then going to be die Hände. Right. The next one, which is then going to be coming, is going to be with an N or an EN, and it is going to be primarily feminine ones only. So I'm just coming in a minute and we will continue. So in the meantime, you can definitely then spend some time doing a little bit of reading. So go ahead, try to read the third passage which is there, and I will be back in a minute.
Christian Hart is 28 years old. He is a logist by profession. He works in Mercedes in Stuttgart. He doesn't live in Stuttgart. He lives with his wife and his 2 kids in Kirchheim. Sie wohnen in einem Einfamilienhaus. wife is 26 years old. This is used your money to move on the roof.
Second. ఒక్క నిమిషం.
We arbeitet under Hochschule in Ludwigsburg. And then walking the month. Family are Ausflüge. Weekends.
So, దీంట్లో what is new in this passage which you're learning is the word by. When you're working with somebody, so suppose now I ask, where are you working? So I'm working by Accenture. Ich arbeite bei Accenture. So you're going to use this one. Don't say I work in Tata. I don't in Infosys. So you're going to then use the word by. So this is the one which is special for that. Right. Here we now come back and we understand that when N and EN is going to come, this is then going to be always with a feminine. We have already come across some examples, but we'll have a look at it. So this is then going to be die Frau, die Frauen. Okay, now then you're then going to have die Schwester, die Schwestern, only N, no EN, only N. So it is then going to be here. Let's then remove this and put a couple of lines there. Right. Hitler, this is then going to be the N. So now, what about if it is already ending with an N? Let's say Freundin, Freundinnen, NNEN, so NEN also. So probably you need to then add NEN. Freundin, It's a little bit over, but it's all right. It is not going to fit over here. Okay, so it is then going to be NEN. Freundin, Freundinnen.
Okay.
Then the third one is going to be with ER. This is going to affect masculine and neutral. So you're going to then say der Mann. Die Männer. Das Kind. Die Kinder. Clear? We're then going to get this particular one over here. The child, the children.
In this word, this man and manner, does the sound also change? Is it manner or manner?
It is Männer. Männer.
Okay. So we'll get a sound there, not a.
No.
Okay.
We have already covered this when we talked about pronunciation in Matarkanam.
Yeah. No, I know about the sound, but in plural, I was just confused whether the sound remains.
No, it is then definitely going to be there.
Okay.
So here in pronunciation, we talked about diphthongs and umlauts.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard some other words, so there they did not change the sounding, so that's why I was confused.
Okay.
For example, for cows, it is ku, right? And then for plural, it should be kyuhe, when they are getting the umlauts.
It is going to be Q.
Okay.
It's going to be Q. K, U umlaut, H.
And HE.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the next one is then going to be our old friend, the S. So, all foreign words. Foreign words are going to fall into this one. Das Baby. The babies. Spelling note, you're going to have this one then. We say the party. The parties. Okay. Like this, it is then going to continue. Foreign words, they are going to be simply having the same kind of for this one. The last one, no change. There and the. This is the only way you can make out if it is going to be masculine or if it is going to be singular or plural. So, lehrer, teacher. The teacher, same thing. Der Lehrer, die Lehrer. Then der Onkel, the uncle, the uncles. Then
Mädchen.
Enkel. So you're going to have, this is then going to be the ones which are going to be for grandson. Grandson, grandsons. Only with the article you can then make it out. When it is then coming, this is primarily going to affect masculine and neutral. So here when you then come with this one, and you happen to then have das and die. So we're then going to then say Mädchen, and then you're then going to say Fräulein. So das Mädchen, die Mädchen, das Fräulein, die Fräulein.
What
Okay.
is a Fräulein?
Fräulein is an unmarried girl.
Okay.
Miss.
And it is not
పదమూడు
neutral
వరకు
word.
15 వరకు మేడ్చన్
Okay.
13 వరకు సో 13 దాటిన తర్వాత షీ బికమ్స్ అ ఫ్రాయిలైన్.
Okay. And it is a neutral word. And I mean, thus Fräulein.
Both of them are going to be neutral. Later, when we take up the study of der, die, and das, at that time I will explain to you why these things are then going to be neutral.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we are now going to take up I have to open that one now. When we are talking about verb forms are then going to be affected by two factors. The form is decided by two factors. The first factor that is deciding one is going to be the personal pronoun, which we have seen so far. And it is common, that is commonly used over here. However, when it then comes to this one, so we find that this is only valid for the present tense. And we then having 6 different kinds of tenses. So what happens to the form when it is then in the present, the tense is changing? This is what we are now today going to first find out for the simple past tense. So you have got present tense, you have simple past tense, then you have present perfect, you have past perfect. Okay, so then you're going to have these, what you call the
future tense.
The future tense, and then you're then going to have modal verbs. So these are the 6 variations which are commonly used. There are other variations. We will talk about them when we come to it. దీంట్లో we are only going to touch upon simple past tense. ఇప్పటిదాకా మనం చేసింది present tense చేసింది. Okay. Now, here you are then seeing that it's going to take a particular form over here. And the forms, in the case of regular verbs, we are only talking about regular verbs. So, now, in the case of the regular verbs, we have then seen that the stem is then taken and you're putting the marker on it saying that this is belonging to the first person, second person, third person, and so forth. Now, when we are then going to the simple past tense, it is then going to change a little bit. So here I'm going to use a bluing to show you what the changes are, which is then occurred over here. The first change that you notice is that instead of then simply saying marker, I'm then going to say machte. So this is now going to be known as a simple past tense marker, valid for all the thousands and thousands of regular verbs. So this is going to be valid for all of them. So, ich machte. Now, this becomes the template. So this is going to be copied all the way here. Machte, 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 machte. Then I'm going to put machtest. This is going to fall out. It is simply going to be machte. This one, the E is going to fall out. And then I'm going to say machten. And here I'm going to say machtet. Machtet. So, now, this is the simple past tense. Now, what are we going to do? Right. Now, I make coffee. So, tell me,
Ich mache
hmm,
Kaffee.
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 Okay.
Ich mache Kaffee. Now, I made coffee. So,
Ich machte
absolutely right.
Kaffee.
Ich machte Kaffee. Okay. Now, I buy a car. Okay, let us every time I Peter. So Peter buys a car. Then Peter buys a car. Then you're coming here and saying Peter bought a car. So the word for buying is then going to be kaufen.
Okay.
So ఇక్కడ ఏం రావాలన్నా మరి
Peter kauft
ein Auto.
Ein Auto.
Right. Then when you're coming here and you want to then say Peter bought a car, how am I then going to do that?
Peter kaufte ein Auto.
Absolutely wonderful. As simple as that. Peter kauft ein Auto. Okay, well done. You're picking up so nicely that you will practice this a little bit in the next session, and then we will move onwards to the present perfect. The present perfect is a bit complicated, it takes time to understand. So, first we remove all the drawings over here. Now, we go back to our little, this one over here. Now, this one you have now said, du trinkst Milch. Let us then take this example here. Now, what should I then say for the past tense? This is the problem that you're going to have because this is an irregular one. So, let us then say since we have learned only the simple this one. So, number 3, wir spielen Schach. So, we played chess. How will you say this?
Wir spielten.
Wir spielten Schach. Absolutely right. You have grasped the concept very nicely. It's going to be spielten Schach. Okay. Now, since we have come all this way and we are now looking at irregular verbs, I will then tell you how it is done. Basically, irregular verbs are going to be around 180 of them in number. By the very word irregular, it means that it is not going to be, it's going to be always different from the other one. Now, how do I then find out what I then require? So, I require a tool over here. The tool that is then going to be given to you, I have 2 tools which I can share with you. I will give you one today and one tomorrow. This is then going to be called as Vocabulix. Vocabulix is a conjugation site. Now, when you are coming across a word which you have not come across before, now trinken, you don't know what is the past tense. So you want to then say trinken. So click on that. Present tense, past tense, future tense. Conditional conjunctive. Condition and conjunctive are not of interest for you. You're only going to be concentrating on these 3 here. So I put this one over here and we find there are 3 kinds of past tense. Simple past tense, which is called as preteritum or imperfect. Then you have the present perfect and you have the past perfect. Pluquam perfect. Now you can then see trunk. Like in the case of the regular verbs, ఒక్కసారి ఒక్కదానికి వచ్చిందంటే మిగతా అన్ని ఇక్కడ it is going to be identical. There is going to be no difference in this at all. So, ich trank, du trank, er trank, wir tranken, and ihr trank. So, ఈ మూడింటికి మట్టుకు you are going to get an ST, EN, and the T. So, that's all there is going to be the difference. Okay. So, now, if you remember, when talking about vocabulary, we said we require about 50 to 100 verbs. At 50 to 100 verbs, మీరు ఇక్కడ చేసుకుంటే మీకు కావాల్సిన irregular verbs బయటపడతాయి. 35, 40, 50, whatever is the irregular verbs. Irregular verbs, when it is regular, you know it is T ending. Here, you don't understand. So, only by practice, you are going to learn how to then put which one over where. So, this is one method. Please stop over here and we shall continue the day after tomorrow. All the very best. Have a great time. I'll see you.
Yeah. Bye. Cheers.
Bye.